Using her solar return chart on February 21st, Val sees a change coming for Princess Catherine.
This is a big, big change that they're talking about. It's over here. It's a big family change. There's a lot that is positive about it because that trine to the sun.
Then in June,
maybe moving forward on something and tired of being stuck. 10 of Wands. Somebody's moving out.
July 28th, headlines report a possible move infuriating King Charles. What's next for the royals? Stay tuned.
Thanks for joining me. We're talking about Princess Catherine today. We're going to do some more predictions for 2025, and I'm getting out my cards. We're going to look at charts and cards. We've got a couple of charts for Princess Catherine, like the solar return chart, which gives you a predictive glance at the next 12 months. For her, we are looking at just the next few months because she's going to have a birthday in January 9th. And we're going to look at her decade chart, which is wild. It shows exactly what's happening. And we're going to look at her Dasha chart. We want a nice card for Princess Catherine. What is ahead that Princess Catherine can look forward to in the next 4 to 5 months? Oh, I got Knight of Cups. So lots of romance, maybe grateful for maybe coming to an end of a chapter. And these are some cards. They are called the Word Tarot. Grail Seeker, continue journey, new opportunity and prospects. Good news. So that's really good. She's moving to this new place. Let me get a clarifier card on what's ahead for Princess Catherine in the next 4 months. Oh, we've got 7 of Wands. So moving to higher ground. That's a good thing. That is a good thing. We're seeing flooding here. So I don't know what that's about. We're going to get to the bottom of it. I know it's great to see ahead what's going to happen for her. Glad that she is feeling better. Don't forget my members only show on the Taylor Swift prediction and the betrayal prediction. You can see a lot of really poor aspects in the wedding chart of Kelly Clarkson. So we looked at that. So fascinating seeing these charts. So I hope you get a chance to take a look. And if you'd like to get to that show, just hit the join button and you'll have access to all of the programs. Got 2 new classes coming up. One is my forensic astrology class, figure out how to draw a crime chart, learn case clues, like if there's going to be witnesses, basically when the crime can be solved, if the police are corrupt or if they're going to solve the crime. Basically what I wrote in my book, Forensic Astrology 101. I've also got a basic astrology class coming up. So learn how to make predictions in a very simple way. You don't need to be an expert and you can ask questions. It's all interactive. So I hope to see some of you for that. This is the headline that just came out under Royal Moves in Vanity Fair. Kate Middleton and Prince William moving to Windsor Great Park. Of course, park means Leo. The problem is there's going to be a little controversy because some families are being forced to move out of their homes, probably for security reasons, so that they can move in. I guess these are adjacent properties or people who live close by. Now we're going to look at Princess Catherine's Dasha calendar. If you want to look at your Dasha calendar, we do that in my readings and we see what your timing is. But you can also do it yourself. You can go to Cosmic Squares and type in your information and you will see which planet you're running right now. And this is the Vedic astrology version. So for Princess Catherine, she's in a Mercury-Saturn phase. Mercury is very fast. It's very intellectual, but in poor aspect occasionally, and it is, you can deal with thieves. You can deal with people who are taking things. So you have to watch Mercury. It's the trickster planet. And we've already seen that when she had farm equipment stolen from their property. Now with Saturn, good aspect, you can return to places that you love. You can remember things that you used to love doing, and maybe you're going to go and return back and start doing them again. But it can also be a time where you feel tired. You look tired. You might go walk a little bit slower. You might not be as motivated. And so she actually started this Saturn period. It was as early as March 23rd, 2025. This is a period of hard work for her, and it's going to include, of course, moving house. I also thought it was interesting, the picture that she posted June 2023 for Prince William's birthday was of them jumping. And we saw that as an omen way back that it was some kind of change. Uranus represents to jump as well as to move. So it was going to definitely be a symbol for what was ahead for them. Princess Catherine is not only in her Mercury Saturn phase, but you would call it the Mercury Saturn phase. She's kind of in a double Saturn phase right now, but good news for her. It ends. Her double Saturn period ends. So she's going to start feeling a lot more positive, I think, a lot more excited. And so that ends right around the time when they're really starting to make plans to move. And so that's Princess Catherine's Dasha calendar. And you can see that this Saturn phase ends August 25th, which is mere days from now. She's still going to be in her mini Saturn phase, but it's not going to be as harsh for her. So what you would do is you look at your birth chart, and even though this is the Western version, it still works. She's in her Mercury phase, so we're going to look at Mercury here. She's also going to be in her Saturn phase, which is here. And it's not easy. She is dealing with a T-square. And what's the T-square through? Well, it has to do with the sun, which is her body, her health, can mean depression when Saturn is in a square. So a little bit sad about certain things, a little bit fearful because of the moon that was squaring Saturn. So she's going to feel a little bit less scared, less fearful as she comes out of the woods here. Saturn plus moon is fear of death. And so really happy, less depressed. And she saw her fair share of death too, with family members and friends and that kind of thing. So also with this little sextile to Neptune here, well, Neptune rules the 8th house, which is the second house from the 7th, and that's her husband's money. Sure helps. And it's in Sagittarius, which represents large amounts. Sagittarius is large, so always helps with those T-squares if you're lucky. Mercury, also running for a little while, in a trine to Mars. So maybe when you have a trine to Mars, it means you're winning something. You are winning, and the third house is how you want to communicate. Maybe she has something to do with relationships, partnerships, marriages. If she wants something, she gets it in this period. And also a sextile to Uranus. And so this is being able to use advanced technology when it comes to her health, because it's in the 6th house. Mercury is in the 6th house of health and work. Also thinking ahead, thinking forward, being a visionary. Mercury natally is sextiling Uranus, is somebody who is very, very bright, more bright than probably she gets credit for. All right, so we kind of covered that with Saturn there. I'm going to be glad when she's out of the Saturn period, and that'll be in 2027. But at least she's out of the double Saturn period, which is here. So we're going to be seeing some changes coming in where she looks a little bit more, possibly, I don't know, just a little brighter, a little bit more focused on things that she wants to do and not hidden as much. Now, we've got a couple of months though for her that are going to be a little bit difficult. She's going to be holding her breath probably in the September, October timeframe, and I'm going to show you that in a second. But here is Princess Catherine's decade chart. And we start the decade chart on the birthday, but from the last decade. So we would look at 2020. So if it was your decade chart, say you were born March 1st, you would, if you wanted to look at the decade of 2020, you would say March 1st, 2020, and then you would draw the chart or review the chart. So her ruling planet is the sun, and this was a major, major year for her because the chart ruler is right in this time frame. See, what we're doing is we're looking at every year as the houses reflect. And so we're way over in the 6th house now of work and health, and so much Capricorn there. not easy at all because we have 18 degrees here, and 18 is disease. 18 with Capricorn, that can mean cancer and really scary stuff. Saturn conjunct Mercury is a lot of fear, probably more fear than we know that she had. And so she's moving through this now. And before, Saturn was activated because we were moving through the Capricorn house. But now we're almost to January 9th, 2026. I mean, we're probably somewhere in here, and Uranus is activating. Uranus rules Prince William. So we're really seeing him out there in the press, the ninth house. And what are they talking about right now? Right around the period of Aquarius coming in to her decade chart, the move would be in the press. Oh my God, I just thought about this. Where are they moving? Taurus, forest. Isn't it Forest Lodge? Crazy. So that's when that would activate. So the timing is perfect. So the way that I look at the house for the year, for the decade chart, is I just try to see, what is 50%? And an example would be, better example is like, okay, 50% of the year. So, because this is kind of broken down, the houses are kind of in between. So Gemini would rule half the year, and then Cancer would rule the other half of the year. And so we would have different ruling planets throughout that year. Now we are coming in to the fall and the early months of 2026. So Uranus is going to be there for a while, and super happy. Look at those blue lines. Oh my God, look at the moon. That's home. These are homes here. These are actually a bunch of homes. And North Node shows that they would gain something in this time period. We like the North Node. And it's in the 11th house of hopes and dreams and the community in a really nice, positive mini grand trine there with none other than part of fortune. So I love that for them. And it was so hard that when they were in the Capricorn time period, and now boom, into Uranus, into the Aquarius phase. The next thing, well, it's going to be 2026. So we'll wait on that for the 2026 prediction. But I thought that was so wild how Aquarius represents to move, and right on time, they're thinking about moving. Sixth house is also health. And there's a little trouble here. There's a little trouble here that I wanted to ask the cards about. And that is an octile to Neptune. Now, Neptune can represent the eighth house of real estate. It can represent fraud. It can represent scandal. And that might be attached to the move, the home. And we're already seeing a little bit of scandal here. So what is this octile with Neptune? This could also mean a flood. Could be, and that might not come in until 2027 because you could see how Neptune is in that year there. But I would say even earlier, maybe around the summer of 2026, right there. So what is Neptune? We're seeing a red line here to what represents basically their move. Maybe things will get lost. So things disappear. It's like the magician, it's appear, disappear. Sometimes there could be old pipes, gas. They've got to really check out the house. Mold, could be mold. Is there mold in this new place? These are the cards that Amber got me for my birthday. King of Wands. That's interesting. King of Wands. Is there mold? This looks pretty strong. It looks like a yes. It looks like a yes, there's mold. Oh God, I hope not. Golden, as you said, I'm a little sad they're not moving into Windsor Castle. It's Prince William. He doesn't want to move into any castles. He just wants a regular home. Oh, thank you, Marie. And from Saudi Arabia, how is the weather there right now? It's hot in the UK. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely hot. We're talking about a lot of Leo energy right now. The kings, we're looking at a lot of kings. We've got Mercury and Leo. It's super hot. We're going to get a clarifier card on the mold issue. I'm not trying to spread anything. I'm just asking, is there a mold issue in Forest Lodge? Again. So it looks like yes, and water. So they have to be very careful, because if you have that, you can feel bad. It can really hurt your health. I am not sure what to think about that. What do you think? You think there's mold in the Forest Lodge? Well, let me get back to this. We've got a couple of charts to go here. So this is the decade chart. It's so fascinating to look at your decade chart. If you go in and put in, like for some of us, we can go way back and like 1990, 1980 to see how our decade went. And whew, some of the decades, like I don't know how I got through some of my decades. Other decades were peachy, or years from the decade were really good, but super interesting to see it at a glance. This is what we were talking about. Uranus is activating right now. It's retrograde. It's not perfect, but with all the blue lines through it, it does bolster it so that it's much stronger. Uranus, like I said, there it is, Neptune at 16 degrees, which is the Cancer degree. It's water in the home, mold in the home, could be some kind of chemical. So they really have to be careful. It's also scandal. Could be scandal, the home scandal, where they told people to leave. Now, here is the Princess Catherine decade chart. We're just looking a little bit ahead there. Venus represents her mother-in-law. So we're definitely going to be seeing something. I wanted to pull a card for this. We did it before. This is a shock. This is definitely a shock coming up for Princess Catherine. Now, it's in the seventh house of partnerships, employment contracts. Not that she has any, but this is something from the past that's coming in that Princess Catherine's going to have to maybe tackle or avoid. I don't know, but maybe around February, March 2026, even though this is a 2025 show, for Princess Catherine involving her mother in law. So maybe something that has to do with a female. It's heat. It's a Leo card. Somebody's really happy. Maybe it's Princess Diana. Clarify a card on what this could be about Princess Diana coming up. Her husband, Princess Catherine's husband, is in shock. Like it looks really shocking for Prince William. He can't believe what's happening here. Maybe he doesn't want to talk about it, about the accident, but there is something coming up here for Princess Catherine in the spring. What is it? Something about the kingdom. Clarify a card. Princess Diana. Why is Prince William so shocked? Yeah, secrets are coming out. They're real small. They're in the basement right now, but the truth comes out. Big truth. Woo, I'm getting chill. Geez, it's not a good surprise. I Googled it, and for that mold when Edward moved in, but on the outside, but it was inside too. Oh my God. We've got some Scorpios in here. Good research. Thank you. Yes, Karen, if there is mold, that could be very expensive to remediate. Transit progress. If you really want to know what is going on right now, no holds barred. I mean, just the absolute 100% truth. Go to transit progress chart, and it's really your birth chart now with the transits over it. And it can be really difficult to see, because especially when you have stelliums, sometimes the planets all pile up in your progress chart, and it is difficult. It's super, super difficult. About it. Let's look at Princess Catherine's home. And we have Black Moon Lilith here, and we also have Neptune in there. She really does have to be careful about the mold issue and the flooding. This might be something where they really need to look into this first, especially if it was King Charles's idea. You want it to be their own idea. So we're going to look at Jupiter. Where is Jupiter? Jupiter is here. So interesting that their home has Black Moon Lilith transiting through there, and it's not that pleasant. The square is Mercury in Leo, which can show that maybe somebody is bullying them. Maybe they're bullying someone about their home. There is a bullying aspect. And thankfully, with Mercury in Leo, retrograding and going direct, Mercury's fast. It's going to end soon. But still, and then plus the fact Jupiter represents not just her home, but it represents her husband too. Her husband is doing something. Mercury there? 11th house. He might be talking to somebody he shouldn't be talking to. What is Prince William doing? Why? There's Black Moon Lilith conjunct Jupiter representing her husband, and then Mercury squaring it. It almost looks like there's a reporter in there or something. Somebody's trying to get some information about him. Well, I mean, there always is, but this looks pretty intense. What is Prince William up to with that Black Moon Lilith? Paralysis by analysis. Can't make a decision on something. Could have something to do with the home, or how he wants to move forward. A clarifier card, though, on what Prince William cannot make a decision on. 8 of Wands. Communications, thinking ahead, maybe thinking of the future. This looks a little shady. What's the shady part of Prince William? It's not for very long, but it's sort of like he doesn't care what anybody thinks. Might have something to do with the kingdom, but what's going on with Prince William? It's going to happen. It's going to be like this maybe for another few months. 8 of Cups. So he's trying to let something go. He's just like, forget it. I'm just going to forget about it. Again, it could be the home, but maybe when you have Black Moon Lilith and you get a card like this, it's kind of like they're giving up on something, and people around him don't want him to give up, but he's doing it anyway. So, oh, that's a good one. Will he forgive Harry? I think the answer to that question. Will Prince William ever forgive Harry for what he did? Wow, look at that. 8 of Pentacles. Looks like at least communication. That's a yes card. I am a little bit shocked about that. I know that Prince Harry is always going to be a thorn in his side, but maybe he will. Ace of Wands. There's the Meghan card. It has to do with Prince Harry and Meghan. Sometimes when you've got a family dynamic, Prince William might be going through maybe a similar situation sometime soon that Prince Harry had to. There could be a little more empathy there. Let's look at Neptune, though. Neptune also represents Prince William, and at the moment looks really nice. Look, there's a nice trine. I mean, the sun will move pretty fast through her chart, but it looks like he is motivated to do something. He's revived. Also in the 12th house, planning things. I mean, what is this? This is Regulus planning, his reign, but doing so behind the scenes. And it looks like he's kind of excited about it. This is October 18th. You notice that Neptune isn't really bothering Prince William right now at the moment, but October comes up and you've got Neptune square Neptune. And this can represent, it could be home improvement issues. Uranus rules the health of Catherine. It doesn't really look bad to me, but something is in that house. Also, keep in mind that her son, Princess Catherine's son, is squaring Uranus. It's been going back and forth on her son, your body, and it also is your work. So you're kind of going back and forth, and it means you have to move a lot, and there are unexpected things that you've got to think about and maneuver, and it is exhausting. So good news for her, Uranus is moving out of that square, and that's going to be around November. So she is going to be like, finally be able to catch a breath. The biggest thing in Princess Catherine's chart that I see in her transit chart is that T-square. It's really tough. Mars represents the 8th house, which is William's finances. In general, she's doing okay. We saw in her decade chart with his money. You keep seeing money issues. And my thought is publicly, Prince William, we're always hearing how he says, well, I want a different type of reign. I want to pare down things, almost as if he's being very proactive and intentional about it. But it might actually be something entirely different where he doesn't have a choice. And so he is just showing that he chooses to do it, even though really he has to do it because of the finances and the financial situation. And that's in Libra. That has to do with politicians. Maybe politicians are giving him some grief. And this is, of course, Princess Catherine's chart. But I am looking at the T-square here, and it goes through her 4th house of home. It almost looks as if Prince William is helping the situation, but it's so much Libra here. It could be it could be politicians that are kind of giving them grief for something. Now, if you want to pull your solar return chart, you're going to go to AstroSeek, type in your birth information, and then in the top right, you're going to see the little link for solar return. I think right now it changed the format, so it might just say return. And you're going to go to the year of your last birthday. If you haven't had your birthday yet, you're going to still go to the 2024 solar return chart. And then you're going to click on the solar only. And so that's how we get this chart with Princess Catherine, where we start January 9th. If you're interested in learning about predictions, hit the join button, get some extra content. You're not going to find this information anywhere else on the internet. Nobody teaches this technique, and it is a good predictive technique. I think it's spot on about public money and William. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes you have to show that you're choosing to do it, but maybe that's not the case so much. I just wanted to put up my information if you're interested in a reading, or if you want to sign up for my classes. This is where you go, astrologywithval.as.me. And I always have specials and ways you can get your questions answered. So even if you want to do a 30-minute session, January 9th to the January 9th of 2026. Okay. Isn't it interesting that right now it's August 18th, we're still in Leo. And what are we seeing in the news? We're seeing that they're having massive success. Part of fortune, massive success. And it's a nice trine to Catherine. This is Catherine. She's super excited about this new, it's almost like a little palace or a little kingdom, and it's being reported. So this is very good. It's kind of in a little mini grand trine here. Her husband, when you see a blue line with Jupiter being the husband, of course, it shows that everybody's in alignment, everybody's excited. Eighth house, of course, who doesn't want part of fortune with blue lines, which is well aspected in the eighth house of real estate? That means you're getting real estate. You're getting a house that year. Isn't it interesting? I mean, if this is right now, this is when the headlines come out. Just a few days ago, she was going through a pretty big fight with somebody about where she was going to live. And I think, oh my God, look at this. Uranus is squaring part of fortune, which might show that she had to change the location of where they live. They actually had to change the property, and they didn't want to because of the red line. It's like, oh, I don't want to do it, but well, at least it's better than Adelaide. Okay, fine. I think there's going to be if there's anything wrong with that home, there is going to be some resentment that that place was chosen for them, and then maybe they get sick or something happens in that place. Now, if you see these types of things, it's just a warning. You just make sure to have those professionals come in and check for mold, check for gas, Neptunian things. Now, this is the area that we're in right now, or we're going to look ahead to early September through November. So we've got Virgo, and then we've got Libra. So we're going to look at the lords for each of these months to see if she's going to have some good months or not. We also look at the planets that are in the house, which is going to be in that month. And there's going to be some things that are really positive because South Node is in good aspect and shows to some degree. I mean, it's not 100% perfect, but it does show that she's leaving something behind. Probably, what are they saying in the ninth house of press? They're saying she's leaving bad memories behind. We're assuming, all the sickness and, the doctors and, really hard time for her health. We don't know what else they're talking about. So the South Node is coming in, but we're getting a square here. And this is really going to start now. Virgo is the health. This is going to be a health month, health and work. And we've got Mercury down here, and it looks a little challenging. It's squaring Neptune, and it's in the third house. This can be local floods, local rains, not being able to speak about something, feeling a little bit stuck. The first house is your identity. So it's possible she wants to unveil something and she can't. She is being she's being blocked here by something. It looks like the press. and also locals. Mercury in a bad aspect is also gossip. So, probably going to continue being reported about how those people need to move. And so there's going to be a little bit of gossip she's got to deal with. Then she's going to come through here. So that was Mercury's going to activate probably as early as September, maybe September 5th, something like that. And then Venus activates. So because of Libra coming in. And that's probably going to be maybe the last days of September. And so Venus is here in the third house again in Pisces. So maybe another photo thing. It looks a little tense with William here. He does not want to talk about something. He doesn't want to address what is going on, what everybody's talking about in the third house of neighborhood. So they're having some problems with the neighborhood, it looks like, because of the third house. Third house is neighborhood, yard, landscaping. Neptune's in there. Maybe it's wet, but hopefully, if they've gone higher ground, as the cards have told us, they will be fine. But it does look like because these lords are in poor aspect for Princess Catherine, she's going to have a little bit of, I'd say, just take it easy. Let's not try to set the world on fire here. This is interesting. We're coming into Black Moon Lilith territory. Sometimes it can represent disease. It seems as if there's some kind of pain that's happening, and it's possible it's right out in the open where everybody can see it. Could be with a relationship, partnership, and also maybe financial, because the sun is in the second house of finances. But what I'm really looking at here is Chiron, which is it's pain. It's pain of some sort. Could be headaches. Let's look and see. And what am I looking at? I'm looking at this T square with Black Moon Lilith, and that's coming up mid-October. Now, Black Moon Lilith sometimes is something where it's like I don't care. I'm going to do whatever I want. But it could also be a person too in the government, which is the 10th house of public. This might have something to do with feeling emotionally wounded because maybe somebody in power is talking about you or saying something that isn't fair, or something that has to do with a legal issue because of Libra being legal. So, will Princess Catherine have any legal issues coming in October? It's hard to believe. Will she be talking to lawyers? Yeah, Gomez, maybe it's about the Trump visit. Good one. Oh, I bet you that's what it is. But she might not. She might say that she's recovering from something. But what is this T square we're saying with Black Moon Lilith? Is Princess Catherine going to be in pain? King of Cups. She's going to be in pain from somebody visiting who's a king. So it looks like yes, and red Mars does seem like pain or anger. Anger from something maybe somebody's saying. So yeah, there's some stuff where she does not want to get mixed up in this political environment. Oh, that makes sense too, because remember what Black Moon Lilith is? It means bad. And this is a politician, which is Libra. So we're talking about a bad politician who says something maybe hurtful or does something hurtful. It's hard to believe because almost said King Trump. President Trump, he's been pretty diplomatic when it comes to the royal family. I wonder, it could be something that has to do with health. Now, her health in the sixth house is in the algal area. That's the thyroid. And it is also just the neck area and the head. So that's coming in. That's going to come in probably. Yeah. I mean, Libra's going to be activating, and that means Venus, also ruler of Taurus, will come in. Clarifier card on Princess Catherine's health, probably around October. Is there going to be any kind of ouchie? Ace of Wands. Looks like whatever it is, might be a no, but whatever it is, the secret will not come out. So we won't hear about it. which I usually don't say. I usually say we're going to hear about things, but cards say maybe not. Kimberly, a lot of her symptoms can be attributed to situational depression, speaking from experience. You can have a lot of physical pain that moves around, as well as headaches, not eating, etc. Exactly, especially her not eating. So, Karen Starter, what do you mean by that? Or did you mean Starmer? That could be. That very well could be the politician that we're talking about. There could be a little bit of trouble with the politician, maybe in October. Yeah. And then once we move over into probably the last week of October, we've got Pluto here. And Pluto's going to be activated. And what does it represent? It represents Camilla. And Camilla's coming in here. It seems as if it's half and half. Princess Catherine's getting the green light, but we might see some issues coming up with Camilla between November, right as Scorpio starts. So probably around November 1st, first week in November, till about mid-November. It's probably something that has to do with their diaries, their schedules, and maybe having to do with the real estate. It looks extreme when it comes to being, pissed off. But let's look at that Scorpio, the Pluto there. That's going to be Camilla. We're going to hear something about Camilla that might make the headlines. And that's in the 11th house of social media. So everybody's going to be talking about it. Princess Catherine and Queen Camilla. What are we talking about here? Soda pop. Of course, Camilla is going to be a problem. Yeah. All right. What 11th house social media? We're going to be seeing Camilla in there. I think it's going to be too much attention on Princess Catherine. I really do, because she's the most popular. Maybe there's some kind of like a survey that says she's the most popular. Not like it hasn't happened before, but it's going to be a big one. What's the situation with Camilla and Princess Catherine in the holiday time frame? Okay, the Fool. Maybe trying to start something new. Maybe something that needs to be started by Princess Catherine. She's excited about it. Let's get a clarifier on that. Good news about it. Maybe showing romance, good news, things. Give me a clarifier on Knight of Cups. Certainly looks like positive cards for Princess Catherine at the very end of the year. Clarify card on Knight of Cups, which is my card for good news. She's going to get some good news. Ooh, Judgment. So, might show that people are being very supportive of her, and those who need to be judged will be judged. So, very interesting. All right, so that's it for now. I am going to be back again. We're going to talk about Prince William's solar return and prediction, as well as some of the other members of the royal family. But thank you for joining me today. I hope you definitely take advantage of some of the classes that I have coming up and the readings. And I will see you tomorrow.